Hey everyone, Jeremy here, aka Mr. Rugi W from the forums. Today I'm going to show you a video of the CPS2 with a SuperBIOS cart, basically reviving a all-in-one black CPS2 board that has suicided. So, the initial thing we need to do is prepare the sim file to be written that will revive the PCB. We're going to do this using Artemio's CPS2 black tool. Way you work this is you have his tool, the CPS2 black. You need to have an ISO, either Warzard or I think Third Strike. You need to have the ISO in there, and you also need to have all the decrypted ROM files, 3 through 10 or 3 through however many is for that game you're using. The way this tool works is it takes that ISO and it creates an image where the fifth sim file has been modified, and the original way you use this tool was to rewrite the entire game using a working cartridge, and then just take that sim 5 out of the CPS3 PCB and put it in the CPS2 PCB and it would work. Well, with the SuperBIOS we don't need to do that. We can create the ISO, then we can extract the sim 5 file and just write just that one file using SuperBIOS. So as you can see, everything's in the directory, and we're going to do this from the command prompt. And I need to get it to the proper directory. Let me bring this down here. Okay, change the directory. All right. Alright, let me type this up, CPS2 black, and I'll tell you how to use it. Alright, as you can see, you write in the CPS, it says write CPS2 patch, but you write CPS2 black, that's wrong. Then the name of the ISO, and then the starting name of the files. As you can see over here, all my decrypted files are MVC, so that's what we're going to use. Back over here. Alright, so I would do Damn, this Windows 8. Alright, CPS2 black space, the name of the ISO, which is important. If you don't type it in properly, it won't work. And then just the name of all the files. They all have to be named the same thing. You see, as it says, it injected it and it created the ISO, which when we look back over here, we're going to see that here is the ISO right there. Now if I double click on this ISO created, what we would do is we would just extract, back out a little bit, we would just extract this sim5 file and burn it to a CD, and then just write that file, and I'll show you how to do that when we come back. Here I have our all-in-one CPS2 motherboard, and right down here is the sim that all the program data is held on. We're going to use the CPS3 to rewrite this sim. Let me plug it in so you can see it's suicided. There you go, just a yellow screen, so it's dead. So what I'm going to do is set up my CPS3 here. I'm actually going to use a cartridge that I have revived for an Italian guy named Aldo. It's going to be sent back out in the mail tomorrow, so it's got an SH2 converted in it. And I'm also going to take the sim off the CPS2 black PCB. I'm going to put that in sim slot 7. And I'm going to go ahead and boot up the motherboard. Hold start to get into Darksoft menu. Alright, let me adjust this so you can see it easier. Let me turn off this light. Alright, let me cross in front of the camera here. And what we're going to do is, we're just going to do like the same thing we did with my last video where we were rewriting the data for no CD cartridges. Let's put out a disk and files. And I got in a directory here. But as you can see, I've tested this with a bunch of other games. You could also actually use this information, and if you have the proper knowledge to rewrite the EPROMs, you could actually convert this CPS1 into a lot of other CPS2 games if you wanted to. It works for most games, but not all, just because the PAL that's on this board doesn't work with a lot of the older games. So it does not work with Dungeons and Dragons. I've already proven that, which means it probably won't work with Super Turbo also without having a modified PAL. So, but for this demonstration, let me just show you how to revive just a Marvel vs. Capcom all-in-one board. I've got all these files here. I happen to have, if you look down, where's that? There we go. Well, all I have right here, right now, is the clean version of Marvel vs. Capcom. I had the Phoenix version on this disc. I must have taken it off or something that's not up here. But we're going to use this for the demonstration. The clean version is what I want to use anyway. So I'm going to select that one. And you just go to write flash memory and Sim 7. Leave the offset at 0 and tell it to write. And that'll take a minute, and I'll come back when it's finished. Okay, so it finished writing the file, and it came back to the directory, which it'll do when it finishes. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to exit out, and I'm going to reinsert that sim onto the all-in-one. Power down. Remove sim slot 7, 32 megabit sim. I'm going to take this sim and put it right on, I don't know if you can see it from where I'm at. Put it right back on the PCB. I want to power up. Now we have Marvel vs. Capcom all-in-one Phoenix, or actually with a clean version of the ROMs.
Capcom presents.
Turn this down to say a few things. The tool that was released to make this possible to write these sim files was replaced or was created by Artemio. He actually made the file last year, but he didn't release it because he was worried about bootleggers getting their hands on it. But he's finally released it. It hasn't been widely released, but it is out there. So if you look for it, you will be able to find the tool. A couple of good things about it. Yeah, it's bad that bootleggers could probably get a hold of it and try to convert Marvel vs. Capcom all-in-ones to Pro Gear and sell them for twice as much or whatever. But there's a couple of good things that are preventing that. One, the CPS2 all-in-ones just aren't that common. They're expensive to get even if they're not working. More expensive than a normal CPS2. So a lot of people, there's not a lot of profit margin in it. And two, it's easy to spot a bootleg of the CPS2 all-in-one a mile away. Now Marvel vs. Capcom was released on a normal B board, and it was released with 32 megabit EPROMs. And I see every game on the all-in-one was released with 64 megabit EPROMs. So this only has the 5 EPROMs on it plus the 2 sound ROMs. Now if you find a Pro Gear all-in-one and it has all the ROM slots filled, then you know it's a bootleg. That's the easiest way to tell. Two, the other thing I think a lot of people might be thinking is, well, I can use this tool to write sims to make a bootleg of cheaper CPS2 B boards and turn them into Pro Gear, and it'll be a lot harder to tell they're bootlegs. Well, this tool won't work for that. We've tried it, and it won't work. Thankfully, it won't work. You have to have more of a knowledge to be able to do that. Yes, the CPS3 can write the sims, but you have to have more of working knowledge of how the files and everything work to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. I'm just going to show you a demonstration of I converted my all-in-one into Street Fighter Alpha 3. I've also done X-Men, Marvel Superheroes, Vampire Savior, just to see if it can be done. And yes, it can be done. You'll have to adjust the jumpers on the PCB, but like I said, there are certain games that don't work no matter what you try. just because it just won't work with the way this hardware is designed. So when I come back, you'll see that demonstration. And now, just to show you it can be done, I replaced all the EEPROMs on this PCB with the mask ROMs from an actual Street Fighter 03 B board and reprogrammed the sim. I'm going to show you it working.
This is Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Sit, Kishi, sit. Good dog.